Pittsburgh Steelers didn't die yesterday in Indianapolis. And I just caution and urge Steelers Nation to relax, breathe, and understand how this whole thing goes and really look at the highs, the promising parts of this football game from yesterday. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. Thank you for joining us for our daily upload. I know many of you are super ticked off about that football game yesterday and how the Steelers came out flat, in my opinion. How the Steelers just were falling behind quickly and not able to recover right away. However, the Steelers did do this. They were down 17 points at one time and erased that deficit. Then down 14, erased that deficit. Two times in one ball game, they erased significant deficits and were able to get back in the game and still on the final drive have a chance to go down and win that game. There were a couple of questionable calls and a couple of plays that the Steelers, messed up on that maybe would have switched this game's ending to where we're having a different topic of conversation today. Maybe we would be talking about a 4-0 football team if maybe a couple of those things didn't happen. One being the Minka Fitzpatrick penalty for what was that? A personal foul. That wasn't a personal foul, guys. That was not a malicious hit. Deshaun Elliott said so after the game that he thought it was kind of crazy also. And I think the NFL officiating is rather bad. That crew in particular, absolutely. I went back and did some research on that crew. And yes, they are a crew that definitely is subpar, in my opinion. However, you look at this game and you say to yourself, what do we take away from it? What high points were there? One, this team didn't roll over and die. This team fought the whole time and, like I said, was able to come back and overcome major deficiencies a couple of times in this ball game. And that type of fight is exactly what you're looking for in a football team, guys. That's what you want to see. And none of us thought they were going to go 17-0 in this season. It's highly unlikely that a football team in the NFL doesn't lose 3-4 games at least in the NFL. It's just the way it is. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are still 3-1 leading the AFC North. And I still feel very good about this football team. I still feel very good about Justin Fields and what he is able to do for this football team moving forward. In my eyes, he is still quarterback one now and moving into the future. I think Justin Fields has proven that. Yesterday, 22 of 34, 312 yards, a tutty in the air, rushing for two more, and at times putting this team on his back. I think that was pretty good stat lines for Justin Fields. But yet, there were still some mistakes, and we can't ignore those. The snap, the botched snap, the fumble, they not eluding the pressure and throwing it away when you had double blitzes off the edge. Those types of mistakes have to be corrected. But yet I saw comments saying that his vision and that his processing wasn't there yesterday. I think that's false. I think that he was processing, maybe not to the highest level, but he was doing way better than he did in Chicago. And I think that that growth is definitely shown this season so far. Then you look at times where his own receivers killed him. The superstar, George Pickens, which we've seen him do this all before, fumble the football in a big moment. Did it again yesterday by being loosey-goosey with that football, not holding on to it, trying to do things maybe that he shouldn't sometimes. George, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal wide receiver, but sometimes he needs to get his head in the game. The defense bent and couldn't recover. They had many issues, maybe one or two more stops from the Steelers defense, and we're talking about a 4-0 football team there, simply with just that. Also, the Steelers probably should have brought a little bit more pressure against one Joe Flacco and really tried to get there. We got to give credit to that Indianapolis offensive line. They really were able to corral TJ Watt and company, Nick Herbig, had a okay game, but they ran at him a little bit. They got him under attack, and he wasn't able to be perfect. Definitely not. They ran to his side with Jonathan Taylor a lot, and that hurt the Steelers in a big way. There's several interceptions that I thought should have been had. Joey Porter Jr. for one. Minka Fitzpatrick, I'm still waiting for a play from him. We haven't seen one in a long time. I think that there were some definite missteps there schematically by Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin. And again, I think there were some schematic missteps by Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin on the offensive side of the football. I think they came out in a little bit of an ultra conservative mode. I think once they started to get out of that, you saw this football team come alive. I also thought that Najee Harris was totally ineffective, and that boils down to the beat up offensive line. However, it is what it is. They got to get better, man. They got to work with what they have. And they got to come together and set them up in a better position schematically. Perhaps spread this offense out a little bit more and allow Justin Fields some quick throw opportunities. Utilize more of those tight ends. You don't have to come out in five wide receiver sets, but you can come out in multiple tight ends. You can come out with two tight ends, two wide receivers, and a running back, and spread things out still and be a little bit different and make the defense have to think. Justin Fields has athleticism and legs. 10 carries for 55 yesterday. However, if you're in that spread, you could rely on Justin to be that running back here and there. You could do those things. So if you're the Steelers, you got to go back to the drawing board and look at this thing schematically. And like I said, I think you got to spread it out a little bit more if you're the Steelers with this hurt, beat up offensive line. It's a must, guys. It's something that they have to do here, in my opinion. So we'll continue to watch that thing grow. But again, guys, this Steelers team did not die yesterday. I know the fan base is very passionate. I understand that the fan base is one in which, live and die each Sunday by the results of the game. But this Steelers football team is okay, guys. They are okay. They are just fine. And like I said, 3 out of 4 road games. They are 3-1 coming out of that stretch. I think it's a fantastic record. I think it's fantastic growth so far that we've seen. But don't get that twisted. There is so much room for improvement. And that's a good thing because we know this team hasn't hit its peak yet. We know this team hasn't reached the mountaintop of performance. And that is a very good thing and something to be ultra excited for if you're a Steelers fan because what hopefully all this thing can do is go up and this team can continue to grow and continue to win ball games and put themselves into a solid position for the back half of the season when they face a ton of AFC North teams and you're sprinkling little Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles in there. But the Steelers really need to take, a different approach here schematically in some instances. And some of that's coaching, but this all wasn't a Mike Tomlin game to where he totally lost the game. It wasn't just offensive. Justin Fields lost the game. It wasn't just a defense lost the game. This was a true team loss. They missed opportunities all across the board, and that was definitely something that they can't let happen again. But it was a good learning tool in a game that I definitely thought showed you some really, really good things. And that is the fight of this football team. And if I were opposing teams, I wouldn't want to play a team like that. Why? Because no matter what you do to them, they are going to keep coming at you. They are going to keep coming. They are not going to stop. And it's like a championship heavyweight boxing match. You remember in Rocky when Apollo Creed said, he just keeps coming. He does not stop. Or maybe it wasn't Apollo. Maybe it was his trainer when he was trying to figure out, if they should fight Rocky again. And he kept saying, I saw you beat that man and beat that man like I never seen any man get beat before. And he kept coming after you. That's exactly what this football team looked like yesterday. They got beat badly, and they kept coming after the Indianapolis Colts. And that is something to hang your hat on. And that, my friends, is going to really guide this football team into the future. Thank you guys for joining us. And I know it's a somber day here on a Monday. However, now we turn our attention to week 5 and the Dallas Cowboys for Sunday night football. So, guys, get pumped up. This thing is still on track and get behind this football team. And I'm talking a blackout in Acrisure Stadium on Sunday night football. I think it's at Acrisure Stadium. I want to make sure, guys. Let's double check that. Let's double check that. I want to make sure that we are in the right spot here. I believe it's at Acrisure Stadium. So before we get out of here, I want to double check that, but definitely something that we need to look at. Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, it is at Acrisure Stadium. So I am calling for fans to come to action. I am calling for a blackout in the city of Pittsburgh Sunday night. Cowboys, Steelers. Let's make that thing the absolute black hole, the blackout, the blackest you can make that stadium. Everybody have black and gold on. Black that thing out, and let's have a monster showing there for Steelers Cowboys. Let's make that place so damn loud that the Cowboys aren't able to think. Let's make the ground shake in the city of Pittsburgh come Sunday. All right, guys, until tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live, the best damn live show on the internet. So make sure you join us for that to talk some more football. So until then, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.